Guys, I realized I didn't make an intro for this video, so I just wanted to do that right now. Today I'm going to be going and doing an unboxing for all the stuff to do the chassis harness on the Tetanus Shot 240. I'm going to start the video off in my office. I got two packages that came in for the 240s. Some stuff that I was alluding to in the other video. We got the wiring products, or the stuff to do the wiring. Some butt connectors that actually have solder in them. Those are pretty cool. And something a little special here. So anyways, we got two packages in here today. So I'm gonna go grab some scissors and we're gonna open these up. I actually got an X-Acto blade. Use this to make our stickers. Talking about our stickers, here is one of our sweatshirts. Oops. So we actually have our sweatshirts in here, and then I have a big old batch, it's probably super messy in here, of t-shirts. But we have sweatshirts in finally. I am actually wearing one right now. Alright, so this is to start the Amazon Prime wiring harness, chassis harness, the Amazon Prime chassis harness. So everything on here was Amazon Prime. I have two more packages coming later, so I'm just going to preemptively shoot this now. And that way, that didn't do anything. And then that way, when the other ones come in, we'll be all 100% ready to go. Here we go. We got a universal switch panel, but this is a actually kind of cheapo nice panel, and it kind of matches the coloring. The cheapo nice panel, and it kind of matches the coloring of the inside of like the climate control bezel. So I was just gonna work this into where the radio goes in the Tetanus Shot 240, and then these are little grommets that you drill in and tap in to have the wiring actually come through the firewall. And real quick. And here is some solder butt connectors. So we're gonna have to solder in a bunch of stuff anyways to we're gonna have to use these to get to the stock plugs, so for like the taillights and headlights and stuff. But I figured these are a lot easier than a butt connector, and they last a lot longer, and they're waterproof. The next package literally arrived right after I opened these and put them all down. I got my ring on my doorbell. Came pretty beat up, but here we go. We get to see what this is. It is a massive amount of wire. It's kind of stupid that I've literally never gone and bought this like bulk wiring before with all that I do, but they should have sent me every single one a different color. But there's one last package coming here in just a second, and then we will be ready to actually get started on the wiring harness. So far right now we actually have a pre-made switch panel, these little grommet things, these little things, they're made so that you can actually have the wiring go through, some soldering butt connectors, and the switch panel. So I am so excited to do this video because I've done so many wiring harnesses for cars, but this one is the cheapest and the highest quality. Piece of the puzzle has arrived. Heat shrink, but not just any heat shrink. This is RAYCHEM G35 heat shrink from TE Connective. This is like the best heat shrink ever. any of those like wire harnesses and stuff like that will come with this heat shrink on it, and this is enough to do the entire chassis harness on the Tetanus Shot 240. So I am pumped. You can see, there you go. Oop. RAYCHEM DR25. So anyways, this stuff, any of those like nice harnesses that you see will have this kind of shielding on it. I sent a few Snapchats to some of my friends of these, and they wanted to see how they worked. So I sent them a little video. So I'm going to show you guys how these work. So you put the wire through it, you tighten this down, and then it no longer moves. So what it does is it actually provides a waterproof seal around the wires. It's actually pretty cool. Make sure you can see this. It just kind of tightens down that iris right there. And this is all the way tightened. Oh, focus. That's all the way tightened down, which is actually smaller than this by quite a bit. So I think this goes down to a 3/8, and then you're able to actually just create a waterproof seal. And then this side, oh, focus. And then this side right here is kind of like those bulkhead fittings that we did with Zach's rear mount radiator. And this also has a weather seal on it as well. And that will also, or that provides another water seal. So this is completely watertight once you have a heat shrink, or you've used that RAYCHEM D35 to heat shrink the wires. And then once you put it through here, you have a fully water sealed bulkhead fitting for wiring. Now these are so cool, and I've never actually seen these be used before. I actually just found these online, so they're not all this big. Came with a few different sizes, but that's, you know, this is just a basic view of what they are. They're actually pretty neat though. Like, this is really, really cool, and I'm excited to try this out. I'm going to put this on both of my cars. So I'm going to put this on my other S14 and the Tetanus Shot 240, and Zach's harness, chassis harness, is going to go through one of these in the back on the firewall and through the front firewall into the engine bay. So these will only be for chassis harness. Probably could and probably will use them for other things, but right now that's what we're trying to use them for. I'll grab another one of the other sizes real quick because it just came with a ton of them. So many. Here's another big one. Oh, this one's a bit smaller actually. So here's another one that's a little smaller. And so there's the 4 different sizes that they come with. So down to this one, which is just like almost a headphone jack, and the iris is super tiny on that in there. So came in 4 sizes. These were pretty cheap too. I think I got all, I think like 40 of these. So it came with a pack of 40, and I think that was a total of like $10. Now we have the switch panel. So this came today also. Sorry about the camera angle. This tripod I'm using is kind of crap. Instructions, some zip ties, but it came with a bunch of different covers for the switches. Here's the switch panel itself. Kind of like an ARC panel where it's actually separated and has its own cable running back to it. But this cable looks quite a bit better than the one from the ARC panel, and this is $200 cheaper. Here we go. Here's the fuse box for it. The fuse box comes through, has a power, a separated, I think this is just I think this is ignition on power, but I'm going to be using a kill switch on mine. Here's the lead for the switch panel. It's got a ton of wire, which is kind of a little bit annoying, but whatever. Here's the leads out for each output. So this would be, it's labeled 1 through 6. All the different relays in there. Open this up. And then here is the relay box itself. It's got fuses in here. They're all pre-wired, of course. Everything's all ready to go. So it's pretty much a very easy plug and play option. It uses the standard 4-pin relays in here. Let's see if I can get one of them out. So that way you're able to go to like an O'Reilly's or something just to pick up a relay. I know that the ones from O'Reilly's have a little tab off of them for mounting them with a screw. And then I'm not sure why this one's different, but this is a 5-pin, I think. Oh no, it's still standard it's a 4-pin, but I think that's like the older Nissan style relay. So hopefully that one doesn't go up. But I'm just gonna use that as a starter for the starter relay. I think actually that might be number 6. Not momentary switches. These are on and off toggles. So for the starter, I'm gonna have to go on when the car starts up, off, ignition, fuel, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I have a vinyl cutter. What I'm gonna be doing is actually making custom faces for these switches. So there'll be custom labels on here instead of using these ones, which are kind of, I mean, let's be honest, I don't need rock lights, a whip, a winch, air compressor, rear end and front end lockers. Anyways, it's a pretty cool little setup though. So I'm gonna try and set it up to where this panel is turned on by the ignition key being turned on. That way I still have that safety mechanism in there. But this is pretty exciting. I'm one who's very into doing wiring harnesses on my cars, and so this is going to be fun, and this will be very easy to do. Nice, quick, and simple, and clean setup. So I'm going to go clean this up right now, and then I'm going to grab the other stuff that I got today. And here's the RAYCHEM. This stuff is some really nice, high quality shrink wrap. It doesn't have glue inside of it, but this stuff is very, very, very good. Like, I have put this on harnesses before, and it literally makes the harness look so much better if you do a concentric twist. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that with a chassis harness because I don't really see the point in spending all that time going through and doing a concentric twist, especially for something that's going into a spare car. I'm going to show you the shrink rate of this heat wrap. That's how far it's going to shrink down. It does a little bit further, but this was loose already on the pen, and so now it's nice and tight up on the pen, and it's got a really good grip holding it on there. This is the 3/8 version of the DR25 RAYCHEM, and that's how much it shrank down. So it went over a pen, and it had quite a bit more room. So I'd say that's about 4 wires of 14 gauge AWG wire, which is what you'd want to use when you're doing this, and that's what I actually purchased, but it has a gnarly hold on it. So holds pretty good. It's got good bend after it's been heated, so it doesn't lose its elasticity like a lot of other ones. And these are, I think, fire resistant. Not proof, but resistant. View these. So these are another heat shrink item. These are so killer because you don't have to do butt connectors, crimping, uncrimping, making sure you got the right, everything in there. All you have to do is you line up the 2 wires inside of here. You'll heat this up with this is actually solder in here, and then these 2 little guys will hold the wire in place. So you heat these ends in first, make sure the wires, of course, inside of here touching each other. And then once you've got it held in with these 2, then you'll go straight here with your heat gun right in the middle of it. It'll make a soldered connection instantly. Super clean, super easy, and these end up making your harness nice and tiny as compared to a standard butt connector, where a standard butt connector will still have that plastic sheathing that holds around the metal inside of there. That's so much larger inside of your harness, and when you've got a bunch of spliced wires together, you've just created a huge bulky spot in your harness. So these are going to be great. I'm super excited to use these, especially for how cheap they were. They came, I think this whole pack was like 10 bucks. It's got tons of different sizes in here, which is really nice. Especially when you're dealing with different types of wire connections. So that was a great buy. $10, I think it's like 120 piece set for $10. That's more than you get at O'Reilly's with the standard butt connectors. So good value here. 1-day shipping, especially with Prime. All in all, this is all you're gonna need to create an awesome race chassis harness for $200 from your stock harness. So you're gonna need your stock harness to take a few plugs off of it, but this is gonna be something that's gonna help you get going and moving a lot faster for a lot cheaper. I've built harnesses before that cost $400, $500, $600 to make because the switch panels themselves cost $400 or $500 just alone. And then you have to purchase the wiring, the sheathing, all the other products that you need to actually make it look nice. And this one is a $200 harness. In the next video that I do, you're going to be able to see me actually create the chassis harness. We're going to show every single step going through it, wiring the taillights, wiring the headlights, wiring the, well, I'm not running fans on that motor, wiring the push start, wiring the ignition power on an S14 SR20 harness. And we're going to be using the stock F4 plug from the original chassis harness. We're going to be cutting it off and just splicing into it to where we need it. I'm going to be running leads up for later on when I actually run a set of gauges. Right now I don't have gauges. I haven't purchased anything yet. So we're going to go through, do all of that and get this set up. Please let me know if there's anything I can change in this video. I know this one was kind of weird and different because we weren't actually working on cars, just kind of going through some of the products that we got in. But if you actually like this video and you want to see more of when we get stuff in for the cars, and you want me to walk through some of the things on them more in depth, just leave a comment below saying that. This is kind of just a filler as well because we were snowed in, as you saw in the last video, so I wasn't able to actually spend much time at all this week working on cars. So everything, and it kind of actually delayed some of getting this stuff because this was supposed to be done today in Monday's video, but as you can tell. So I've got everything now set aside and ready to go. So the only thing left to do is do it. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notifications when we post. If you see something that I could have done differently in this video, please leave a comment below. If there's something you want to see more in depth when we do the chassis harness video later on this week, again, leave a comment below. Anything that you can do to help us out, please share us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you can. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more content.